Alright, and we're back right after that. So I just took the steak off. I put it on the burner that is off just so it can kind of cool down a little bit. We're going to put a little bit more emphasis on the eggs in this part of the video. And so we'll get that going. It's already pretty well mixed up. Alright. So. That's the problem. Right there. Alright. I used a little bit bigger pan than I wanted to on this, but we'll see how this turns out. Dump that mix into there, into that larger pan. Depending on the size of how many eggs you crack, you might want to use a smaller pan. I just went through the one because I use a smaller for the steak. Alright, so there we have that mix. Given that this is my first try with an omelet, it's going to be a little different than when I'm used to making scrambled eggs. So, I can't over-mix those. I'm going to let it, but I've got to make sure that, they don't stick. That's my biggest pet peeve right there. You don't want your eggs sticking to the pan. That's a lot of waste. Alright. We'll just let everything in there and let us see how this turns out. Just make sure it doesn't stick, but also let it just form one solid concoction. I'm going to do my very best to break my old habits of constantly stirring, trying to get those fluffy scrambled eggs, because that's not what I'm doing here. I don't want that. Alright, so I was going to do this before while it was still in the bowl, but it's fine. I just added a dash of salt and pepper in there. Alright, there we go. And just let that sit. Pretty much what I'm trying to learn is don't let it cook for too long. I want those nice crispy edges if I can help it. But don't keep turning it and turning it and turning it. That's the biggest thing. I'm making an omelet. I'm not making scrambled eggs. We're all in this together. This is a learning process for me. This is a random 12:30 in the morning. Just watched a movie and I was like, I'm gonna make an omelet tomorrow. I've never done that before. So, what we will do, I want to double check on that steak because even though you turn it on a burner that's off, it's still soaking in its own heat. It cooks a little more. I'm okay with that. There's a little bit of black. It's not overcooked. That's kind of the same way I do my bacon. Just because the burner is off doesn't mean that everything's not hot. So you put it in there, it's all in there hot together. It still cooks a little bit until there's no heat left. I'm okay with that. And when this omelet is all ready to go, and what I'm going to try to do, since I turned it a little bit with my spatula, I'm going to kind of spread it out, and we're still looking okay. It's all one solid being, one omnipotent egg being. Alright, I'm going to spread it out, try to even it out. Kind of like you would a crepe. You want the kind of in a sense, like a tortilla or a crepe, you want it all one solid surface. So, I'm going to try to do that with my eggs. I don't want it broken up. It's something I want to fold and put on my plate, like fill with and put it on my plate. So, here we go. Alright, and just let it simmer. I want those eggs to cook. I'm not rocky. I'm not going to dump them in and eat them raw. So, in the meantime, as I said earlier, if you can help it, go ahead and clean up a little bit while you cook. It'll save you a lifetime. I know that's, I think, the biggest hang up with cooking. It's the biggest hang up with me. It's time, setting the time out to cook a meal, setting the time to clean. If you clean as you go, that's the biggest part of the battle right there. So I don't have a whole lot of dishes. I did a lot of it last night. There's not a whole lot of dishes from this yet. There will be. But, go ahead and put what you can do. Go ahead and take care of that bowl I used to mix the eggs. Go ahead, wash that out. Get it soaking. Whatever you need to do, don't forget about it. You'll thank yourself. All right. Put that butter in the fridge before it melts. Put that sour cream away. And put those eggs away. And I will, even though we've already got some meat in the refrigerator thawing, since this is open, I'm going to be a good roommate here. Put the open half the sirloin I'll save for later in a storage bag. Let them know. Hey, you know, this is open. It's a bloody mess. There we go. And one thing I did not do that I forgot to do, because this is such a big rush, is season the meat. Luckily, while everything is still warm and kind of simmering in its own little heat there, I'm going to go ahead and throw some. Let me see if I can find what they did, but their wonderful seasoning there. Alright. I should have looked prior. Okay. That's what I wanted right there. There we go. Dash of garlic powder, just a little bit. You don't want to overwhelm it. But, and where is the gosh darn parsley? There we go. All right. So you just want to throw a dash of parsley in there. You know, something, it's up to you what you throw in there. I just like the basics. Especially when I'm doing something like this. You've already got plenty enough flavors. You've got the eggs. You've got the steak. And you don't have to overwhelm it. If you want a fully loaded omelet, you want everything on, I'm just going to do a basic because it's my first try. You know, steak, egg, cheese. And since those eggs are looking pretty darn good, I'm having high hopes right here. Once again, I normally like to shred my own cheese. Got in a little bit of a hurry, didn't go to the store after work yesterday. So, a little bit of, just spread that out nice and equally. I'm using that 6 cheese Italian blend. It's whatever your preference is. Alright, now I'm going to gently put some of that steak in the middle. Some of the smaller pieces, I didn't cut it up as well as I should have, but I got plenty. So some of this might not even make it in the omelet. That's just fine. It's just to give it some flavor. Alright. Just out of curiosity. Steak turned out good. Very happy customer. Alright. So even though the steak is pretty well cooked, it won't hurt it to just get in there a little bit with the eggs. And while I'm here, just kind of letting that simmer, I want to see. I'm going to sort through a little bit. Lots of different seasonings available. See anything that catches my eye. Anything I think it's missing. Every now and then you say, oh, this could use more salt, this could use more pepper, this could use a little bit extra parsley, some basil. Just those very basic seasonings will help immensely. And you can always add more until you get too much. You know, that's one thing you want to watch, obviously. Of course, empty jar. That's what we love to see. Alright. Somebody didn't fill it when they were making pierogies last night. Alrighty. Alright. Just gonna different now. One thing that doesn't hurt is a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. I partly do that for the same reason almost as the butter. It helps my food not stick as well as the pan, and also has just a nice little flavor there. Alrighty. What else? Oh, that's right. So, if you watched any of my other goofy videos on my channel, I've got like 3, 4, 5, whatever, from different periods of my time, you might have learned something about me. You might have learned about my love for ranch, and if you don't, you're about to find out. So this is actually some ranch I made from a recipe I found online. Very simple. Maybe I can do a short one if I feel like it some other time down the road. I love it. And one thing I learned is, in a nice jar like this, use one of those nice little blender balls you find in your blender bottle when you're going to the gym, taking your protein, whatever. Really helps. You just shake it up, everything mixes nice. I've been a Hidden Valley guy for years. This ranch turned out fantastic. I'm stuck. So one thing I'm going to do is just make my own ranch probably from now on. I'm not going to get crazy, but I've got a few ideas that would definitely give it a little more Jeffrey Danger quality. You wouldn't be here if I didn't force you to watch it, or you didn't stupidly scroll through it while looking through YouTube and somehow find it. Oh wow, okay. I haven't checked on it. I haven't got my spatula fully underneath it. It's not perfect, I can tell. But it's actually, I think we're doing alright here. I think I am about ready to fold that bad boy up. Oh, there we go. I am incredibly happy with how that's going though. So let me show you. I wish I had a better, camera set up. That's what I wanted. I didn't want black. Wanted a nice golden brown, and I'm used to making scrambled eggs very easy. You're constantly mixing those. You don't want them suited to the pan. I was kind of worried about my omelet with not constantly doing that. About the underside getting burnt because I'm not moving around one side more than the other. I'm okay with that. That's a great, nice browning that I want. So, there we are. I'm going to go ahead and take that off the heat. Get my plate ready. And if you had any questions about this, I implore you, I don't know what I would ask me, because, again, it's my first try. I'm not an expert. You're just doing this for some dumb reason, not sure, but I appreciate you. And so if you have any question about actually making an omelet, Google it. While this didn't turn out bad, apparently making an omelet is pretty simple. And this wasn't incredibly complicated, but I'm sure after practice it will turn out even better than it did. So, I just wanted to say that while I'm letting things kind of cool down. Alright, a little bit sloppy, but like I said, that's one of my biggest things was being able to fold that omelet without it breaking all up. And for the most part, it folded in half pretty well. I am actually very satisfied with that for a first attempt. It's something I will definitely try and improve on in the future. So, there you go. I think it'd be silly of me to let you go without at least having you see me taste the product. You've seen me taste some interesting things, whether it be basic microwave foods or the very first thing I did, which I gotta admit is pretty disgusting. I won't lie about that one. But, alright, let me get a piece here with some of the meat in there. Alright. It might not be a perfect omelet, but that turned out darn good. So I just want to say thank you for sticking with me. If you only found this part of the video, because there was a first part where I accidentally pressed the off button, and like I said in the first part, I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to do spot, so it's a clear one shot of me just winging it. Regardless, you don't have to watch part one. It's encouraged, but I really don't care. That's all for you. And if you just feel like maybe being entertained, regardless of why you're here and how you found me, appreciate it, and maybe we'll see you again in like, I don't know, year, maybe 2.